Last time around, they were discussing an EP. This time around, they've got a full album together. I speak of Cryptic Calling. Well, I speak with James. Really, you're the other one with me tonight, but you pretty much are the backbone of Cryptic Calling. And over the next 2 hours here on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7, we're going to talk about your band, the music, what you've come together on this album, the journey that you've gone through and everything involved with that. It sounds like an epic adventure. Thankfully, there's not going to be a lot of walking in this because that's what it sounds like, right? You do have some other members in the band, of course. You're here to talk with me, but you do have some other people with you.
Kind of. I'm actually in the process of getting a new group together. I do have a few people who are interested. I don't want to say any names, nothing official yet, but hopefully in the next couple of months, we will be back out playing live shows here soon. So
it's a bit of a transition phase for you right now as you're changing out some of the members.
Definitely, because the album was sadly was done by me, and obviously, I can't play live shows by myself, so...
you could, but it's going to look awkward.
Yeah, it would look very awkward. I mean, I get backing tracks or whatever, but, it'd be kind of embarrassing. But no, I had a couple of people who were interested, and I'm excited with what should potentially happen, so we'll just see how it goes.
You do have the album pretty much together, though, and that's what you're shooting on getting to share with them. We'll talk about that, get to a couple of your songs tonight, and catch up with Cryptic Calling on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. Started out as an EP project, turned into an album project, and now it's turned into the search for just the right mix of people. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. That's pretty much the story for your band Cryptic Calling right now, right, James?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could sum it up to that.
You had some people that you were playing with.
Yes, I did.
I think you had at least one other member that you were writing songs with.
Well, I had two other guys. I had Shay Shankle, who played drums, and Clay Zimmerman, who played bass for me. So that was the initial lineup that we had.
And they worked with you on getting songs together and kind of going. You mainly wrote these, though.
Yeah, I mean, they were there definitely to kind of help bring them to life. I tried to maintain the main songwriting duties. It's just what I'm passionate about, and they understood that, and that was kind of good.
Things change. They kind of went their separate ways, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we had different paths that we wanted to take with this project, so there wasn't really a way to, find a happy medium, so to speak. So yeah, we went our separate ways. Nothing bad, nothing bitter. We're still friends and all that. It's just better off how it is.
So you headed towards heavier sound, lighter sound?
The thing I love about Cryptic Calling is I'm never in a situation where I write something and go, nah, that's not going to work, because I grew up, listening to so many different styles of music, and I don't ever want to be restricted to what I can and can't do. That's what I love about it. I mean, if you listen to the album, there's the heavy songs, there's ballad songs, there's acoustic songs. It's kind of all over the place, and that's what I enjoy the most. You don't know what's coming up next.
In the process of putting those songs together, they did have some kind of refinement on them. They did kind of add a little bit of spin to them, but I'm guessing with different directions, they've gone off to do polka?
No, it's more so like, what we wanted in the end. And with me, it's not so much trying to make a career. I enjoy doing this. It's more of a hobby. And, what comes out of it comes out of it. But, Shay definitely wanted to do a lot more with it. He wanted to kind of try to make a career out of it. And we couldn't find a
medium
common
ground.
Yeah.
You're happy putting the music together, getting it on an album, and then getting it shared. And then if people get a chance to enjoy it, they get a chance to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I've spent the last year doing as much online promoting as I can. We even got a lyric video for this lead single, Failure to Resist, up on YouTube. Anything I can to get the music out there, because the sad nature of it playing in Nashville, I mean, a lot of people don't come out to shows anymore. It's kind of sad. When we start playing shows, we're probably going to try to hit outside of Nashville, because...
Well, I think I'd said you want to make the music and put it out there, but you do want to get out and perform it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about making the music. It's about getting a chance to share it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, I'm not old, but I'm not young, and I can't just drop what I got going on in my life to go out and tour and hope to God I make money, So, yeah, I mean, we definitely want to go out and play shows again. I love doing that. It's just, and the older you get, the harder it is to kind of pursue something like this. So, the guys that are interested in playing, they're on that same page. They just kind of want to play, and it's not about playing a show every weekend. It's just, if we play a show,
you're not hoping to make it onto the next big Make Me a Star show. You're hoping to just get your music shared. Well, some of the music that you've worked up, we've played before. Let's get to a track we haven't played.
Sure.
Otios.
Oshios.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, Oshios is actually what it is. I I think I stumbled upon that word one day, and it basically means a lack of space. And I was like, hey, that works pretty well for when I was going for the song. And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to eventually change the name of it, but people began to associate it with that word. So I was like, all right, I'll just leave it the way it is. But yeah, everybody, it's either Odiose or Odios. It's Oshios is actually how it's pronounced.
At least it wasn't Adios, so that's good,
I've heard
right?
that one too. I've actually heard that one too. So,
well, it's Cryptic calling. It's Oshios.
Oshios, yes.
On the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Currently the vision of one man that's going to be shared with quite a few other people. It's Cryptic calling tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. I think the name really kind of fitting because you're being kind of cryptic with me about who's going to be involved with this project. You do have some new members, though, that are lined up, right, James?
Yes. So like I said, just in case things fall through, I don't want to make any promises because the album was supposed to be out like July of last year, and we saw how well that worked out.
Well, over the last year, you've had a few bumps in the road, some differences of opinion, some things have happened. You have also continued, though, forging the course, trying to get this music done, refining some of the songs, making sure they met what you wanted. Has that also impacted your songwriting?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to say the least, this album is definitely kind of like a chronicle of the last like 10 years of me trying to become a songwriter and a vocalist. And so it's kind of fun just to see like the journey I've taken because some of these songs are actually about 10 years old. Some of them are only 3 or 4 years old. So it was a long journey.
As you listen to them, do they reflect that journey in that you can hear the progression of how you write?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the better I became a vocalist, the easier it was to actually, write songs. The oldest song on the album is what's considered probably the best one on the album. The most I've gotten the feedback for is the title track, Last Words, and that is the oldest song on the album. So
is it one of those tracks that you have rewritten, or is it one of those that you wrote it and it stands as it is, so maybe it didn't take as much refinement?
No, that one has a long history behind it, but I wrote it the night after my grandmother passed away, and it was a completely different version. It had a different chorus, and then a year later I kind of went back and reworked it, and it ended up becoming what it is now, so to speak. For the album, I kind of reworked it, put some piano into it, which I thought, really brought it to life. I'd play it, but the song's almost 7 minutes long. It's
yeah, it's your November Rain.
Yeah, kind of. You can't. I tried to edit it, but I can't get it edited to where it sounds right and it works. So
you're like, well, it's got to have this and it's got to have that and it's got to have this. And
it's all got to be there, and without it, it just doesn't sound right. But no, it is definitely the one I'm most proud of, and it's funny to see it being the oldest one. And actually, the one after that would be "Never Say Goodbye." Was written about a year after that one. But yeah, I can hear progression in my opinion, but it's the way I approach songs then is a lot different than it is now. So
when you approach a song now, what would you say the biggest difference is?
With now, I make sure the song is musically written. And then I start working on, the vocal side of it. Because before I tried to, write lyrics. I did what every 16-year-old did. I had a spiral notebook and had lyrics written into it. And I tried to put songs to that. And over time, I just realized it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. But no, I definitely try to have a clear vision of, the song musically before I even start.
So instead of trying to write the song to fit the lyrics, you write the lyrics to fit the song.
Yeah, there you go.
You kind of reverse the way that works. Well, that, and I'm guessing probably those spiral notebooks full of lyrics are sitting around, and maybe a song's going to eventually come along that will fit them.
Who knows? And, sometimes I will flip through and find like, oh, I kind of like that line, or kind of like where I was going with that. So sometimes, stuff like that still sparks imagination. So
we're talking tonight with James of Cryptic Calling. We're going to continue our conversation a little later and get to another one of the tracks on the new album he's put together as we continue on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It is the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Each week we talk with a different band and get to know a little bit more about the music that they make. You can find out all the details about how you could be doing what we're doing tonight with Cryptic Calling by hitting up the website at rock937online.com and getting all the information there. Say who you are and what you do in the band.
Well, my name is James. I primarily do vocals and guitar, primary songwriter, I guess you could say.
And pretty much Cryptic Calling.
Yeah, sadly, pretty much Cryptic Calling.
James has been doing music for how long? How long have you been making it?
Oh, man. Well, I can't say 20 years. I would say 10 for sure.
Definitely a solid decade of making music.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was 8, so over 20 years.
And after a while, you just decided maybe I should write it instead of just play it?
Yeah, I mean, I got to a point where I was like, I really want to take this serious.
How was it trying to find the right people to play with?
That's kind of the hardest part about it because everybody has their own vision. So you gotta find someone who shares that vision with you. And I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the hardest part of it all. I did work with a guy for a long time. He played bass. We did a lot more metal stuff, and I had a lot of fun with it, but nothing ever came out of it, sadly. And then when I went to school for audio engineering, that's when I met Shay Shankle. He was a really good drummer. We became good friends, and we both kind of had the same vision, what we wanted to do musically. We didn't want to be, just straight up metal, but we didn't want to be just straight up rock. We kind of wanted to just do what we wanted and just have fun doing it. And that's what matters to me the most.
So that's definitely the trickiest part. You find maybe one person that you click with, but finding more people that you click with.
Yeah. And when Clay got involved, he was a good friend of Shay's, so he was just kind of happy to be involved, I guess, so to speak. When we went our separate ways, that's when I was like, all right, I'm just going to stick with me for now. I have a vision for this album. Let me just go ahead and lay it down and get some people who, want to be involved with what they've already heard. And the guys that are getting, involved kind of came to me, actually, and, showing interest. And that kind of meant a lot to me. So, okay, they share that same vision. They like what they hear. They're fans of the band. You can say it sounds selfish, but, I worked, hard for this album to get it done.
Well, I think it comes back to what you said. You have to have a vision of where you want to achieve. And once you started that vision, just kind of breaking it down is a little tricky to do. Had you thought about maybe restructuring your vision and going with, let's say, you and a guitar and just the acoustic route? I
mean, I've done, a few acoustic shows. I've modified a few of the songs to do that. I don't mind doing that. I'm not going to lie. I probably have enough acoustic material to release an acoustic album. I don't know when that'll happen. But it's not as fun. When you go up on stage with just your guitar and acoustic guitar and vocals, you can't rock out. It's just not as enjoyable.
You like that extra power of being plugged in and having a couple of guys with you. And you actually have taken people into the studio and put together some of this material. I think you worked up most of the instruments yourself on this one.
Yes.
As far as the album, we haven't given them the title. The title of the album is?
Last Words.
Last Words is the title of this album, soon to be released. And we'd mentioned it, I think, earlier. Never Say Goodbye was one of your earlier tracks.
That was the first song I sat down. I was like, all right, let me write the music first and then try to put lyrics to it. And granted, what you hear on the album is not the original version, but musically it didn't change. When, Shay and I got together and I was kind of going through all my catalog of songs, and that one came up, and I've always loved that song musically. So I reworked it for Cryptic Calling, and it turned out a lot better, in my opinion, obviously. Several year difference in songwriting ability, but I'm definitely happy with the way that one turned out.
Let's give that one a listen then. From the upcoming release for Cryptic Calling, it's Never Say Goodbye, the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. After a long road, a lot of work, and a lot of effort, Cryptic Calling finally putting together the one thing they wanted, an album. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. I have James in with me. You're pretty much the force behind Cryptic Calling, and you have been working towards, you started out with an EP, a few songs, and then now it's grown into a full album.
Yes. The EP that we released back in 2012 was just put together so quickly, just something to hand out to fans. Looking at the songs, I was like, all right, well, we can definitely, do better than this. I learned a lot as far as audio engineering goes and all that kind of stuff. So we took the songs that were on the EP. I don't think we really made any changes to them, but then added the other additional songs to it.
It's not exactly new ground. A lot of bands have done that. Started out with an EP and then kind of reworked them for a full album, and that's the route that you've gone. Your album is currently available?
Yes, it is currently available. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, cdbaby.com, or if you ever catch us at a show, obviously, we'll have CDs for sale. So
once you get a chance to get out there and go hit some venues, you do get out and play, and you keep that up online too. Got a Facebook page for all that?
Yep, I got Facebook page. Website will be up soon. I already got the domain name, so crypticcalling.com. Yeah, Facebook is the best place to keep track of all that.
And you put up, when you do get to the shows, you have that up there and stuff. And plus, all the links to find out where you can get the CD and get your hands on it. And, of course, we'll continue to play tracks, so that'll make it a little bit easier, too. Possibility of an acoustic album at some point in your efforts?
Probably. I mean, who knows? I'm trying not to think too far ahead because I have enough material for another EP, possibly. Because I had some songs that didn't quite make the album, but I don't really want them on the second album, but I want to do something with them. So who knows? Who knows? It'll all come together eventually.
For now, it's just about getting this out and getting it shared.
Yep.
James, appreciate you talking with us tonight.
Thank you.
It's been Cryptic Calling on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7.